Bonjour tout le monde. My name is Brian, and today we're going to be talking about French colors. I was saying French. Les couleurs. We're going to be going through each color of the rainbow and then going through a few example sentences of how you would use those. Okay, so first, red in French is rouge. Rouge. So my shirt is red. I would say in French I would say ma chemise est rouge. Ma chemise est rouge. My shirt is red. Next, blue in French is pronounced bleu. Bleu. It's pretty much the same. The only distinction is it's spelled like this. So let's say your dad or mom or you have a blue car. You would say la voiture est bleue. La voiture est bleue. The car is blue. And we could easily reword this sentence to say the blue car. La voiture bleue. The blue car. In French, you always have the subject right before the adjective, whereas in English we do it around. You would say the blue car, not the car blue. It's the same with all. Okay, next, yellow. Jaune, jaune, jaune. Yellow is pronounced jaune. Now, say your house is yellow. It's painted yellow. The way you would say that in French is ma maison est jaune. Ma maison est jaune. My house is yellow. Next, let's go with white. Blanc. Blanc. Now, as an example, let's say you're wearing a white shirt, a white t-shirt. So. The way you would say that in French is J'ai une chemise blanche. J'ai une chemise blanche. Now, you might notice that blanche looks a lot different than blanc. That's because chemise in the French language is feminine. Certain words have feminine and masculine prepositions added to them. Now, in this case, say we had more than one shirt, we would adjust the sentence to say J'ai deux chemises blanches. J'ai deux chemises blanches. I have two white shirts. As you do in English, you just add an S to the end to signify a plural. Now, I'm going to go through a masculine example of the word white in French, so just to make sure that you get the proper idea. Le livre blanc. Le livre blanc. The white book. Now, since livre is a masculine term, you would say blanc instead of blanche. As you get to know more about French, you'll learn that this is with all words. Some words are masculine, some words are feminine, and you'll get accustomed to that and be able to tell. Next, let's go with black. Black. Black in French is noir. Noir. You might have already known that from, say, neo-noir French films. It's a common word. An example of this used in a sentence would be La route est noire. La route est noire. The road is black. Now, an example of this as plural would be Les chaussettes sont noires. Les chaussettes sont noires. The shoes are black. The shoes are black. Chaussettes means black. Sorry, the chaussettes means shoes. And as you do often, you add an S to the end to signify plural. It's quite simple and easy to remember. Right, next, let's talk about orange. Orange is spelled the same way as you do in English, but it's pronounced orange. Orange. I'm not going to go through an example for this one because it's pretty much just the same as all the other terms I just went through. Now, let's go through pink. Pink is rose. Rose. Now let's go through an example of this in sentence. Les fleurs sont roses. Les fleurs sont roses. The flowers are pink. Right, let's go through gray. Gray in French is gris. Gris. Now, if you know Spanish, you probably would have picked up a pattern by now. Gris, or how you say gray in French, is spelled the same way as you do in Spanish. So that could be quite a helpful tip if you already know Spanish. Let's go through an example of that in a sentence. Mon stylo gris. Mon stylo gris. My gray pen. My gray pen. Now, I already explained this before, but just jog your memory. The color always goes after the subject of your sentence, not before. That's the same with all adjectives in French. In English we say my gray pen, not my pen gray. It can be a little hard to get used to if you're learning French, but you're used to it. Now let's go through purple. Violet. Violet. I'm sure this one won't be too hard to remember since it's just violet. Now, we're going to go through an example of the color purple in a French sentence. Les boules violettes. Les boules violettes. The purple balls. Now you might have noticed me a little clunky enough about the way purple is spelt in this sentence. It's not the same as the way in the previous examples I've shown you. Now there's two reasons for this. One, boule is both feminine and plural, so there's an extra S at the end and an E. The second reason is because the French word for purple is irregular in its conjugation. So you won't have a sentence written like you would with the same structure as the other words we just covered. That's why you have an extra T right there. Now, for example, if we were talking about one ball, we would get rid of the S and just say les boules violettes, the purple ball. And if we were talking something else differently, something masculine like a book, we would say le livre violet. Le livre violet. The purple book. We've gotten rid of the extra T an E, and we just say les violettes. This is true with all words in French, masculine and feminine, and you talk about them in different ways. The next color we're going to cover here is green. Vert. Green is pronounced vert. Vert. Now, let's go through an example of the French word for green used in a sentence. Il a les cheveux verts. Il a les cheveux verts. He has green hair. Now, there's something else I want to point out about this sentence that you might have noticed. The word for hair. Les cheveux. One, you might notice that S in the end and realize it's feminine, it's plural, which is weird because in English, we don't talk about hair that way. Hair is singular. I have hair. My hair is brown. You don't say my hairs are brown. In French, they conceptualize it differently. It's plural, and that's why there's an S at the end of green. Now, those are all the terms I wanted to cover today. But I'm going to go through 2 vocab terms that'll help you talk about coloring with much more profoundness and depth of conversation. Clair and foncé. Clair and foncé. Clair is a French word for clear, and in this context, it describes colors. Sorry, the French word for light. In this context, it describes colors. So if you wanted to talk about a light blue, you would say les bleus clairs, les bleus clairs, the light blue. Foncé, conversely, is a French word for dark. And in this context, of course, it's describing colors. Let's go through an example of this in a sentence, just to make sure you have a proper understanding. Ma père a une voiture rouge foncé. My dad has a dark red car. My dad has a dark red car. Now, specifically, rouge foncé means dark red. And you shouldn't be limited to this. You can make any combination of colors like this. You could a dark orange. Or a light green, vert clair. Now, that was the last example I wanted to go through today. And with these few colors and 2 vocab terms, you can talk about color in French with a wide array of detail. I hope you learned something today, and have a good day.